All right, guys, got a good fucking show for you here today, but wow. Anyway, following a pitiful day of personal sports bets yesterday, we still managed to improve to 2-0 in our last two underdog tier package bets. But before we get into some more of that, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to the video here today for Tuesday, July 26, 2022. My name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. I also sell my personal bets on patreon.com/BrockPage. Once again, guys, I'm 2-0 in my last two underdog tier package bets, and the link for today's underdog tier package bet is in the description section below. Now, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. And what I do on my website is I actually share with you which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and get started. Pirates, Cubs, 2:20 Eastern first pitch. Chicago's minus 185, totals 8.5. Keegan Thompson for Chicago, Bryce Wilson for Pittsburgh. Now, Bryce has been dog shit on the mound here this season. It's kind of like a dog taking a big steamy dump right there on the mound and covering it up with the rosin bag. But having said that, though, the Pirates have actually done a real nice job cashing in on the run line here lately. They're 7-3 against the number in their last 10 ball games, and they also have a winning record against the number on the road. They're taking on a Chicago club who plays their worst baseball at Wrigley. These guys are just 19-32 in front of their own fans, and they're striking out more times a game at home than most teams in the bigs. Now, total-wise, Thompson saw starts recently against the Mets, Yankees, and this very Pirates team get over the number. Meanwhile, 7 out of Wilson's last 10 starts for piss. Anyway, 7 out of Wilson's last 10 starts for Pittsburgh got over the total as well. I'm going to lead toward Pittsburgh, plus 1.5, and the over 8.5. Next game, Marlins, Reds, 6:40 p.m. East. Miami's minus $1.15, totals 8.5. Pablo Lopez for Miami, Hunter Green for Cincinnati. Now, Green's been pitching like a junior Legion relief pitcher. He's just 3-11 on the year with an ERA near 6. The Reds are also winning just 42% of their games at the Great American Ballpark, and their hitters are striking out an awful lot in the Queen City. They're taking on Pablo Lopez, who's been very tough to hit against this season. The righty's got 107 strikeouts and a 1.09 whip. As a matter of fact, this Marlins pitching staff as a whole, they've done a real nice job this year keeping runners off the base paths. Now, total-wise, 3 out of Miami's last 4 road games got over the number. Meanwhile, Cincinnati's gone 70% to the over in their last 10 outings themselves. I'm going to lean toward Miami minus $1.15 and the over 8.5. All right, next game, it is going to be Rays, O's, 7:05 East. Tampa Bay's minus $2, total 7.5. Shane McClanahan for Tampa Bay, Spencer Watkins for Baltimore. Now, Spence has done a real nice job keeping these guys in ball games. The righty's got just 1 loss on the year, along with an ERA in the 3s. Now, Baltimore's also played some really good team baseball at home. The O's are currently 27-19 at Camden Yards this season. Anthony Santander, he's currently leading the franchise in homers and RBI. And even though he's facing one of the best pitchers in the game, the Rays have been playing some pretty bad baseball over the past few days or so. They lost their last 3 straight, and that includes a 5-1 loss just yesterday to Baltimore. And like that score indicates, the Rays have just had all kinds of problems at the dish. They're in the bottom 10 right now in OPS, and they're actually striking out more times a game than most clubs in the American League right now. Now, when it comes to the number, Tampa's gone 23-18 to the under against the AL East this year. Meanwhile, Baltimore's gone 60% to the under in their divisional home games. I'm going to lean toward Baltimore plus 1.5 and the under 7.5. All right, next contest, it is going to be Braves, Phils, 7:05 East. Atlanta's minus $1.25, total 7.5. Spencer Long Strider for the Braves, Aaron Nola for the Fightins. And even though Nola's been pretty much outstanding this year, I'll tell you what, it's really a coin flip whether the Phils can get the W for him. Nola actually comes into today's contest with a losing record. He's got 7 losses on the year, and that's certainly a shame considering he's really, really pitched well. Meanwhile, offensively, the Phillies have been held to 3 runs or less in 7 out of their last 10. Now, they're going up against Spencer Strider here today, who's been an absolute strikeout machine. He's got 114 strikeouts in just over 74 innings. The righty's also got an ERA nearly in the 2s, along with a 1.05 whip. He's also backed by a very powerful Braves lineup who's leading the National League in home runs. Austin Riley's third in the majors with 28 homers. He's also 10th in the bigs in OPS. Meanwhile, Marcell Yoke Ozuna and Dansby Swanson, they've combined for nearly 40 home runs between the two of them. Yoke Ozuna, that's a good one. Anyway, when it comes to the number, 4 out of Strider's last 5 starts did fall under the posted total. Meanwhile, Philadelphia went 60% to the under in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward Atlanta minus $1.25 and the under 7.5. Next matchup, it is going to be Cards, Jays, 7:07 East. Toronto's the $2.20 favorite. Totals 9 runs. Jose Barrios for Toronto. Andre Polani for St. Louis. Now, Polani's done a pretty nice job on the mound this year for St. Louis. He comes into today's ballgame with a very respectable 3.34 ERA. The Cards also have a winning record against the number on the road, and they're actually one of the better hitting teams in the National League right now. They're currently in the top 10 in scoring, top 10 in team batting average. And speaking of batting average, Paul Goldschmidt's hitting .335 at the plate with 24 homers and 77 runs batted in. Now, Goldie's second in the bigs in both batting average and OPS. He's also 4th in the majors in ribbies and 6th in home runs. Now, they're going up against Jose Barrios, and I'll tell you what, don't let this guy's record fool you. His outings have been very shaky. Barrios has an ERA in the 5s, along with a 1.36 whip. And despite being red hot right now, I'm not going to deny that. These guys are playing some good baseball, but the Jays have had a tough time cashing in on the run line at home. Out of nearly 50 contests at Rogers Center this year, they covered the 1.5 only 19 times. Now, when it comes to the number, Toronto did go 60% to the over in their last 10 outings. They also saw 6 out of their last 10 interleague games get over the total as well. Meanwhile, St. Louis went 6-2 to the over in their last 8 interleague road games. I'm going to lean towards St. Louis plus 1.5, keeping this one close, and the over 9. Next ball game, Guardians, Red Sox, 7:10 Eastern first pitch. Boston's minus $1.50, totals 10. Josh Winkowski for Boston, Brian Shaw for Cleveland. And even though Shaw's had a couple of rough outings, he still comes into today's ball game with a 4-2 record on the season. Now, the Guardians are also doing a fine job making contact with the baseball. They're currently in the top 10 in team batting average, and they're also striking out fewer times a game than any other team in the majors right now. Now, Jose Ramirez, he's 3rd in the bigs in runs batted in. He's actually got 79 RBI. Meanwhile, teammate Andres Jimenez, he's batting a team-leading .304 at the plate. Now, they're squaring off against Josh Winkowski here today, who's just 3-4 on the season with an ERA in the 4s. Now, the righty's also got a whip of 1.43. And even if Josh does end up pitching well here today, the Red Sox as a team, they've actually been, really struggling to win games here lately. They're just 2-8 straight up in their last 10, and and they gave up a staggering 84 total runs during that time frame. Now, when it comes to the scoring in this one, the Red Sox went 60% to the over in their last 10 outings. Meanwhile, Cleveland's gone 4-1 to the over in their last 5 on the road. I'm going to lean toward Cleveland plus 1.5, keeping this one close in the over 10. All right, next ball game, little Subway Series. I'm talking about the Yankees squaring off against the Mets, 7:10 Eastern first pitch. Now, both teams are minus $110 with the total at 8 runs. Jordan Montgomery for the Bombers, Taijuan Walker for the Metropolitans. And even though Walker's having a fantastic year, the Mets have lost 3 out of their last 4, and they really struggled to put runners across the plate during that span. They scored just 4 total runs in those 3 losses I just mentioned. They're also going up against a Yankee club on the other side of things, who leads the majors in runs, OPS, and homers. Of course, when you mention home runs, first thing that comes to mind is Aaron Judge, who has a league-leading 37 home runs, along with 81 RBI. Meanwhile, Giancarlo Stanton and Anthony Rizzo, they've combined for nearly 50 homers between the two of them. And even if these Yankee hitters have a tough time with Walker here today, they also have Jordan Montgomery on the mound here today for them, who's been insanely consistent all year long. Now, Jordan suffered only 2 losses this year in over 108 innings of work, and he also has himself a 1.05 whip. When it comes to the number, Montgomery did see starts against Houston, Cleveland, and Oakland recently fall under the total. Meanwhile, the Mets on the other side, they went 70% to the under in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward the Yankees minus $110 in the under 8. And if you're wondering, the Yankees are officially the away team. This game is at Citi Field in Flushing, Queens. So the Yankees are the away team. They are batting first. All right, next ball game. Padres, Tigers, 7:10 Eastern first pitch. San Diego's the $2 favorite. Totals 8.5. Mike Clevinger for San Diego. Garrett One Tree Hill for Detroit. A lot of you guys are not going to get that reference. Now, Hill's got just 16 innings of work under his belt this year, and they have not been great. The righty's lost 2 games already during that short time frame, and he already has an ERA close to 6. Now, equally as bad, this Tiger lineup, they can't hit for shit. They're averaging less than 3.4 runs a game, and they're dead last in homers. They're also going up against Mike Clevinger, who's got a 3.50 ERA and a 1.14 whip. The righty's also averaging over a strikeout an inning. And even if Clevinger sucks ass today, these Pods hitters do tend to score the majority of their runs on the road. Manny Machado's leading the club in batting average, RBI, and home runs. The Sluggers hitting just about 300 at the dish, along with 54 runs batted in. Now, when it comes to the number, 4 out of San Diego's last 7 road games got over the total. Meanwhile, Detroit's gone 70% to the over in their last 10. I'm going to lean towards San Diego minus 1.5 and the over 8.5. Next contest, Angels, Royals, 8:10 Eastern first pitch. Kansas City's minus $1.25, totals 8.5. Angel Zerpa for Kansas City. Jose Suarez for LA. And even though Suarez has been getting knocked around a bit here, he's still averaging a strikeout an inning. And the Angels have also had some pretty good success hitting the baseball against Kansas City. They're averaging nearly 5.5 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with the Royals. And of course, Mike Rainbow Trout, he has a team-leading 24 home runs. Meanwhile, Shohei Ohtani's the club leader in RBI with 57. Now they're taking on Angel Zerpa here today on the other side of things, who has just 7 innings of work under his belt, so experience certainly a factor. The Royals have also had a tough time sending runners across the plate. They currently find themselves in the bottom 10 in scoring. Now, when it comes to the total, 4 out of LA's last 5 road games got over the number. And as a matter of fact, the Angels are currently 70% to the over in their last 10 ball games at any location. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the LA Angels plus 105 and the over 8.5. Next contest, Twins, Brewers, 8:10 Eastern first pitch. Both teams are minus $1.10, totals 9.5. Dylan King Kong Bundy for Minnesota. Ethan Dick Small for Milwaukee. Now, Small has less than 3 full innings of work under his belt, and they were pretty bad. The Brewers have also had significant issues at the plate this season. They currently find themselves in the bottom 10 in the league in team batting average, and they're also striking out more times a game than most teams in the National League. They're also going up against Dylan Bundy here today, who's 6-4 on the season with a 1.27 whip. And even if Bundy gets his salad tossed here today, the Twins have done a real nice job at the plate. Now, that reference doesn't make sense because who doesn't want to get their salad tossed? That's actually a good thing. Who's doing this right in here? Got to get better. Clean it up. Anyway, the Twins, they are in the top 10 in scoring, top 10 in OPS. Saying getting your salad tossed like it's a bad thing. Anyway, of course, Luis Arias, he's hitting a league best 341 at the plate. Meanwhile, Byron 12-point Buxton is 9th in the majors with 23 homers on the year. I'm not sure if you guys are hunters out there. I don't think many of my viewers are going to get that Buxton reference either. I don't know who's writing this stuff, but we got to do a better job. Anyway, total-wise, the Twins saw their last 4 straight road games all get over the number. Meanwhile, Milwaukee went 60% to the over in their last 10 interleague contests. I'm going to lean toward Minnesota, minus $1.10, and the over 9.5. And of course, I'm writing it. Nobody else would want anything to do with this insanely low-budget production. It's all me. Nobody but me. But anyway, next game, White Sox, Rockies, 8:40 Eastern first pitch. Chicago's minus $1.15 on the road, totals 11. Michael Kopech for Chicago, German Marquez for Colorado. Now, Marquez's arm has looked like a pool noodle this year. That's a tough pool noodle. Say that 10 times fast. Pool noodle, pool noodle, pool noodle. Can't do it. Anyway, Marquez, losing record on the year, 5.47 ERA. The Rockies have also dropped 4 out of their last 5. And they allowed 33 total runs in those 4 losses. They're also taking on a Chicago team who won 7 out of their last 10. And they scored plenty of runs in the process. Tim Anderson's batting a team-best .310 at the dish. He's actually 10th in the majors in batting average. Meanwhile, Luis Robert is the club leaders in homers and RBI. And even if the bats go colder than a witch's tit, the Sox have Michael Kopech on the mound here today, and he's had some downright filthy stuff this year. Now, that witch's tit reference, that's good stuff. That is good stuff. Anyway, Kopech, 3.36 ERA, 1.18 whip. Chicago 7-3 to the over in their last 10. Colorado 60% to the over in their last 10. Give me Chicago minus $1.15, over 11. Next game, Astros, A's, 9:40 p.m. East. Houston's minus $1.65, total 7. Luis Garcia for Houston, Frankie Montas for Oakland. And I'll tell you what, it's actually a shame with Montas because he's pitched really well this year. He's got an ERA in the low 3s, over 100 strikeouts, 1.08 whip. The guy's numbers are incredible. Having said that, though, it really doesn't matter because it's all about wins in this league, especially in sports betting. And the A's can't get the job done for Montas. Frankie comes into today's ball game with a 3-9 record with those great numbers. It should be a crime. That's terrible. Trade the guy. Get him on a good team. Do him a favor. And, of course, as I grossly said yesterday, this A's lineup can't hit for green-colored shit from a spinach-rich diet. They're dead last in team batting average, and they're scoring only 3.4 runs a game. They're also going up against Luis Garcia, who's 8-5 with 100 strikeouts and a 1.06 whip. And even if Garcia gets shelled, the Astros have little issue hitting it out of the park. Yordan Alvarez has a club-leading 28 home runs. He's actually third in the majors in that category. And when it comes to OPS, well, Alvarez, he gets it done again. He leads the majors with a 1.066 OPS. Now, Houston went 7-3 to the under in their last 10 outings, oddly enough. They're also 67% to the under when they bat first. Meanwhile, the A's on the other side, they've gone 28-20 to the under in the Coliseum. I'm going to lean toward Houston -1.5 and the under 7. Next game, Giants D-Bags, 9:40 p.m. East. San Francisco's -185, totals 8.5. Carlos Rodon for the Giants, Tyler Gilbert for Arizona. Now, Gilby's still in search of his first win of the season. He's a winless 0-3 with an ERA in the 5s. Meanwhile, offensively, this Arizona lineup, they've really struggled getting on base. They're currently in the bottom 3 in team batting average. They're also taking on Carlos Rodon here today, who's struck a lot of people out this year. The lefty's got 138 Ks along with a 1.14 whip. Rodon's also 8-5 with an ERA in the 2s. And despite the Giants' recent struggles, they've still collectively done a pretty nice job manufacturing runs this year. They're currently in the top 5 in scoring. Now, 3 out of Rodon's last 5 starts did get over the number as well. I'm going to lean towards San Francisco -185 and the over 8.5. Next ballgame, Nationals Dodgers, 10:10 Eastern first pitch. LA's the $2.50 favorite. Totals 8.5. Mitch Walter White for the Dodgers. Josiah Meredith Gray for Washington. Oh, that's a tough reference. I think only you married guys will get that reference because I think probably your wives may or may not make you watch Grey's Anatomy on Netflix all the time, every night. Josiah Meredith Gray. That's not going to hit home with a lot of you viewers out there. But anyway, even though Gray's got a winning record and a bunch of strikeouts, he does get into some trouble. He comes into today's start with a 4.40 ERA. He's also backed by a Nationals lineup who's in the bottom 3 in homers and averages only 3.9 runs a game. They also have to face Mitch White here today, who's lost only 2 games in 50 innings pitched. The righty's also got a 1.22 whip and an ERA in the 3s. Now, this Dodger lineup can also score with the best of them. They're leading the National League in runs per game. They've also got Freddie Freeman, who's hitting a team-best 322 at the plate. Now, oddly enough, LA's currently 28-20 to the under in Dodger Stadium. Meanwhile, the Nats saw 3 out of their last 4 road games fall under the total themselves. Give me the Dodgers -1.5 and the under 8.5. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final breakdown. And that's going to be Rangers-Mariners, 10:10 Eastern start time. Seattle's -155, totals 8 runs. George Kirby for the Mariners, Dane Dunning for Texas. Now, Dunning's been awful this year. He has just 1 win in 95-plus innings, along with a 1.42 whip. No real surprise here, Dunning also has an ERA in the 4s. Meanwhile, as a team, the Rangers have really struggled over the past couple of weeks. They lost 7 out of their last 9, and they average only 2.8 runs a game in those defeats. They're also going up against George Kirby here today, who's got a 3.78 ERA and averages just about a strikeout an inning. Now, the Mariners have also done a real nice job offensively against the Rangers. They're averaging nearly 5.5 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with Texas. Ty France leads the club with a 3.12 batting average. Meanwhile, Julio Rodriguez has a team-best 52 runs batted in. Now, 3 out of Seattle's last 4 at T-Mobile Park fell under the total. They're also 60% to the under in their last 10 at any location. Meanwhile, Texas is 60% to the under in their divisional road games. I'm going to lean towards Seattle -155 and the under 8 runs. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where I'm currently 2-0 my last 2 underdog tier package bets. I like Pittsburgh plus 1.5 over 8.5. Give me Miami minus $1.15 over 8.5 runs. I like Baltimore plus 1.5 under 7.5. Give me the Braves minus $1.25 under 7.5 runs. I like St. Louis plus 1.5 over 9. Give me Cleveland plus 1.5 over 10. I like the Yankees minus $1.10 under 8 runs. Give me San Diego minus 1.5 over 8.5. I like the Angels plus 105 over 8.5. Give me Minnesota minus $1.10 over 9.5 runs. I like the White Sox minus $1.15 over 11. Give me Houston minus 1.5 under 7. I like the Giants minus 185 over 8.5. Give me the Dodgers minus 1.5 under 8.5 runs. And with my next and final free pick for the video, I'm going to lean toward the Mariners minus 155 in the under 8 runs. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my website. Now, if you guys do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just keep in mind you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today, you're going to get access to that content every single day all the way through the end of July. I do always tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. And guys, if you want to get access to every single bet, every single package, every single day, you're going to want to sign up for my board member package. It's an all-inclusive membership. Now, guys, I do have a tea time here today at 1 o'clock, 1:20. So I'll keep you posted tomorrow. I'm sure some kind of fuckery is going to happen where I lose the match. I'm sure I'll probably give them too many strokes, or hell, maybe I'll go right after the stick, maybe hit the pin and roll off the green into the water. I don't know. Something weird always happens. I'll report back to you tomorrow and let you know how it goes. But anyway, guys, most importantly, gotta thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.